Okay, so today we are taking a deep dive
Yeah.
into the world of artificial intelligence.
AI.
AI, exactly.
Right.
And, this is something our listeners really fascinated by because
Mm.
they sent us this source, Discover Artificial Intelligence.
Yeah.
And it's got all these questions in the title.
Oh, wow.
Like who, what, when, how, where, why. So clearly, we need answers.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. And luckily, you are here
I'll do my best.
to help us kind of unpack it all
Let's do
because
it.
I think we've all seen, like, those sci-fi movies with robots, like, taking over the world and that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
So maybe we should just start there.
Sure.
Is that what AI is really all about?
Well, I mean, Hollywood loves a good robot apocalypse, right?
Right.
But the reality of AI is a little less dramatic.
Oh.
At its core, it's a branch of computer science that focuses on creating machines that can perform tasks that typically require human intelligence.
Okay, so not necessarily like building a robot brain,
Not
but more about like getting specific things done.
precisely.
Okay, so let's get into some of those specifics then.
Sure.
Because our source lays out these 6 big questions: who, what, when, how, where, why. So I think maybe a good place to start is with the who. Like, who are the people involved in AI? Who's making all this happen?
Yeah, it's a diverse group, really.
Mhm.
You've got researchers in universities and labs who are pushing the boundaries of what's possible with algorithms and models.
Right.
You've got tech companies who are developing and deploying AI in a wide range of applications, from self-driving cars to facial recognition.
Okay.
And then you have governments who are both funding AI research and also starting to grapple with the ethical and societal implications of the technology.
Oh, yeah, I can see how that would be a big concern.
Definitely.
So it's not just one group, it's kind of everybody.
It's a global effort.
Wow. Okay, so then I guess that leads us to the like, what are the different types of AI? Because, you hear all these terms like machine learning, deep learning. It can get kind of confusing.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of jargon out there.
There is.
Um, but at a high level, you can think of machine learning as the ability of computers to learn from data without being explicitly programmed.
Okay.
So, like, if you feed a machine learning algorithm a bunch of data about, say, housing prices,
Mm-hmm.
it can learn to predict the price of a new house based on its features.
Oh, okay.
Deep learning is a type of machine learning that uses artificial neural networks, which are inspired by the structure of the human brain.
Okay.
And these networks can learn to perform even more complex tasks like image recognition or natural language processing.
Yeah, and that's what's behind a lot of the really impressive stuff we see, right?
Mhm.
Like self-driving cars or those language models that can write poetry.
Exactly. Deep learning has been a real game changer in AI.
Wow. Okay, so that's fascinating.
Yeah.
So, but when did all this actually start? When did people first begin, thinking about and working on artificial intelligence?
It's actually much older than a lot of people think.
Really?
Yeah, the term artificial intelligence was actually coined back in 1956 at a conference at Dartmouth College.
Wow. Yeah.
And there was a lot of excitement and optimism at the time, but the field went through a few what they call AI winters over the next few decades, where progress stalled and funding dried up.
Okay.
But in recent years, thanks to advances in computing power and the availability of massive data sets,
Mm-hmm.
AI has really taken off again.
Yeah. It seems like it's everywhere now.
It really is.
So I guess the next question is, how does it actually work? Like, how did you take all that data and actually turn it into something that can, drive a car or write a poem?
Right. So at the heart of AI are these things called algorithms,
Okay.
which are basically just sets of rules or instructions that a computer can follow.
Okay.
And these algorithms are trained on massive amounts of data.
Hmm.
And through this training process, they learn to identify patterns and make predictions.
Right.
So, for example, if you want to train an AI to recognize cats in pictures,
Right.
you would feed it thousands or even millions of pictures of cats.
Okay.
And the algorithm would learn to identify the features that are common to all cats.
Okay.
Like, pointy ears and whiskers and so on.
Got it.
And then once it's trained, it can then look at a new picture and say, hey, that's a cat.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of like teaching a kid, but with a lot more pictures.
Yeah, it's a bit like that.
Okay, that's really helpful.
Good.
Um, So I guess the next question then is, where do we actually see AI in our everyday lives? Because I feel like, you know, sometimes it can seem like this really abstract thing, but it's actually all around us, right?
It absolutely is. Think about when you're shopping online and you get those personalized recommendations, or when you're watching Netflix and it suggests a new show for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's AI at work.
Okay.
Your spam filter that keeps your inbox from being overwhelmed.
Oh, yeah, thank goodness.
AI is doing that.
Okay.
And then, of course, there are the more obvious examples like self-driving cars and virtual assistants like Siri and Alexa.
Yeah.
AI is really permeating almost every aspect of our lives at this point.
Okay, so then I guess that brings us to the big question of why?
Right.
Why is AI such a big deal? Why should we care about all of this?
Well, I mean, AI has the potential to revolutionize so many industries,
Okay.
from healthcare and transportation to education and manufacturing.
Hmm.
It could help us solve some of the world's most pressing problems,
Okay.
like climate change and disease.
Yeah.
But it also comes with some potential risks,
Right.
like job displacement and the potential for misuse.
Right. So it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Yeah. It is, and that's why it's so important to have these conversations and think critically about how we develop and deploy AI in a responsible and ethical way.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've talked about the who, the what, the when, the how, the where, and the why of AI.
We've covered a lot of ground.
We really
Yeah.
have. But, before we wrap things up, I feel like we have to address the elephant in the room,
Okay.
which is, all those fears about AI becoming too powerful, too intelligent, and, basically taking over the world.
Right, the robot uprising scenario.
Exactly. So how realistic are those fears? Should we be worried?
Well, it's important to remember that AI is still in its early stages of development.
Yeah.
The AI systems we have today are very good at specific tasks,
Mm-hmm.
but they lack the general intelligence and common sense that humans have.
Yeah.
They can't really think for themselves or understand the world in the same way that we do. So while it's important to be mindful of the potential risks of I don't think we need to be losing sleep over a Terminator-style apocalypse anytime soon.
Okay. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
So I guess to kind of bring this all together, what would you say are some of the key takeaways you want our listeners to remember from our deep dive today?
Well, I think the main takeaway is that AI is a powerful tool that has the potential to both benefit and harm humanity.
Okay.
It's important to understand how AI works, its capabilities, and its limitations,
Mm,
and to engage in thoughtful discussions about how we can ensure that AI is developed and used in a way that aligns with our values and goals as a society.
absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
So for all of you listening out there, we've just scratched the surface of AI today.
Just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, exactly.
There's so much more to learn.
There is.
Yeah.
So I encourage you to keep exploring, to keep asking questions.
Stay curious.
Yeah, stay curious, and to think critically about the role that AI is playing and will continue to play in our lives.
Definitely.
And with that, I think we'll wrap up our deep dive for today.
Great talking with you.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.